Hello Sagittarius, welcome to my YouTube channel and or my Facebook page if you've come across this video on Facebook. So this is mid-March 2021 reading that I'm going to be doing now. Because I haven't actually got round to doing your March one, so with everything going on, and you may have been finding yourself being quite busy as well, Sagittarius, and having to put some things to the side for a while and then coming back to it. So and I'm kind of, there's this sort of energy that may have been happening with a lot of people, actually a lot of signs as well. So anyway, mid-March seems right for you to pick up where I've left off with the other videos. So and so here we go. So as always, Sagittarius, I just want to say we'll just remind everybody that these reads are general, so they may or may not resonate with you. So just take what does resonate with you and leave the rest, okay? So check out what your other signs are, because you may be, this reading is for Sagittarius, whether it's Sagittarius is in your sun, moon, rising and or Venus sign. So welcome everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. And I don't know, I keep saying that, welcome. Anyway, that's good. So welcome, because I mean, one welcome's enough, but there may be a lot of energy that's going on around you at the moment. So, and coming up through the end of this month, because I feel like my energy has just picked up. So there, I feel like for a lot of you, there may have been some processing where your energy hasn't been like low, flat, or anything like that, or depressive or anything. I'm saying that some of you, it may have been a little bit like that for you. But I'm feeling for, in general, there is the energy that I'm getting from the energy of Sagittarius is that there has been, have been some things that maybe you've been, contemplating, and your energy levels may have lowered a bit. So I'm feeling, and it's not like, and you may have just found it really challenging to get going, or to pick yourself up off the floor, say, or drag your ass out the door, or to do something and that. But there's something, that's just been going on, Spirit are talking about, and it's just, but there's a turning of the energy, there's a changing of energy at the moment. So, and some of you may have been feeling over the last couple of weeks that, and maybe the last, even just up to the last week ago, about a week ago, that of decluttering. So there is something that's going on in the cosmos actually at the moment, and I've felt it myself in the shift in my energy as well. And many of you will have felt the shift and just like naturally gone and started decluttering things and and shifting things like within yourself. But even I'm feeling for a lot of you that it may be more so on a physical level, where you may have been feeling like, oh, I'm just going to clean out that cupboard, or just start putting things, throwing things away, giving things away are of no service to you anymore, or and it may be that for a lot of you is that you're just ready to like release something or let something go that you've held on to for about the last 20 odd years, and or or even 5 years, or even less than that. But maybe it's just that you're just finding, okay, and maybe for some of you is that you've finally made a decision, well, yes, I'm going to put myself out there and make more of an effort to create change in my life, in whatever way that or form that is. So decluttering could actually be you, leaving your job, or, as in, not just, impulsively as per se, but, you may have made a decision that I'm going to upskill myself, or I might want to do some study in it. It may be that you're leaving your job, and it may be that you've been thinking about it for a while, and, maybe going back to uni or something like that. Well, like I say, upskilling yourself, but they just hear it, and, or just, choosing a whole completely different career, or even, just, having changed because you've outgrown the space that you have found yourself in, probably or possibly. So anyway, I've got the Ace of Wands, which is interesting. I'm going to start with that. So, actually, I'm going to go retrace back there. So we're going to be doing a mind, body, spirit, soul sort of a flow here. I'm not sure exactly where that's going. And so, and across here, but also we'll look at the current energies, and then we'll go to the next and see what is what may be coming forth, and what, you know, what comes up from these ones, and how you can move through it, and just to give you a bit of an idea. And we'll finish off with a few clarifiers as well, you know, as for an outcome for the end of the month and things like that. So I'm not really sure, like I say, where we're going, but I'll just go with the flow of it, like I usually do. And that's what I'm hearing from Spirit too, is just go with the flow of it, more often, you know, than not. And not try and control a situation, because there are some things, you know, that are meant to be flowing in the way that they're meant to be, in order to bring out some more clues for the next step, and the next, you know, next step or the next direction of where you're going to set your compass for, okay, or set your GPS for, okay. Anyway, so we've got the Ace of Wands in the mind, and the Seven of Swords here. Okay, I'll just hold that up. Seven of Swords. So, by the way, I'm using the Celtic deck here, Universal Celtic Tarot deck here. And then we have the Ten of Swords on the spiritual side. And, gosh. And the Nine of Cups, okay, on the soul level. So some of you feels like you've been doing some really nice, or a nice, may not be feeling or seeming like that, and while you're going through it, some energy there that is that you're processing. So with the Ace of Wands, I'm hearing like there's some you know, some new movement or some new action within your mind, and where you are wanting to take some new steps, which is interesting that we start off talking about that. So taking some new steps, and, you know, motivating your energy, maybe feeling, you know, in your mind, because that's where it starts. If we're in our mind, we're not, you know, a positive, in a positive space, you know, we can, that's, you know, that can be, you know, the difference is, you know, as to our movements, you know, whether it be our pace in our movements, or the direction of our movements, and that sort of thing. Because if we're in our mind and we're thinking like depressive thoughts, you know, negative thoughts, or thoughts, you know, that are going to lower our energy, we're going to be in that space. So I feel like that's where they're going from there. It's like your energy, or thoughts that are, you know, like are limiting belief thoughts that are, you know, holding you back off from doing something, because you're letting our head get in the way, and like, there we go, and it changes. And it could be a game changer as well. So what I'm hearing is like, you're changing the game, okay, for you. Which is really interesting. I've not really seen it like that before, but it's like you're taking things in your own hands, and you're beginning that, you know, you're creating that beginning, or that new beginning, or that new action, that new, you know, doing something about that idea that you've been wanting to do, or create, or begin in a certain direction in your life, you know, for a little while. It may be something really new that it's like just spontaneous, and maybe you've been waiting for a clue to come up, and it's like, or something that's more solid, that feels more right for you, and it's like, okay, so there may be an impulsive thing, and that's okay. And then you're just like, right, I'm ready to go. And some of you, like I'm hearing like at the moment, and it's just like for a while now, in this whole decluttering process, and I'm hearing maybe going back about 2 or 3 months, there's been a process that you felt a shift, and each time you felt a shift during this last 3 months, it's created more clarity. It's given you more clarity about what it is that you really want to do, and where you want to focus on. So now it's got to a point where it's like, ta-da, click, click, it's like you've got it now, that the light bulb is, you know, is like, it's like something has switched, where you have like, okay, this is, you know, it's just like the final, what am I hearing? The final straw, or the final clue, or the, you know, or something has helped you to like super really put whatever it is at rest for you. Some of yous, and some of whatever is going on is, you know, you may not even know what that's about, and it will become evident, you know, in the next few days, next few weeks, or whatever it is. You know, from hearing this, you know, from like listening to this video even, or, you know, or just, you know, from this timeline. So today is, I'm just going to scratch my eye, there's something in my eye. So there may be something that's emotional that's holding you back. So today is, I'm just going to get my glasses because I'm going to read something in a minute. Is the 17th of, Wednesday the 17th of March 2021. Then I'm doing this, just FYI. this reading. So anyhow, so the Ace of Wands, we have the Seven of Swords on the physical side. So this is where they're going with the mind things. There's something is shifting, something is moving, because we have the Seven of Swords, and it's like you're starting to move and you're starting to put things into action. You've come out of the Five of Swords, which is, you know, that that frustration and that sort of thing. And the Six is like, okay, there's a little bit more direction, but now it's like you're picking up everything, you know, all those thoughts, and you're actually going to like, because I'm loving how the dragon is like breathing on it the way it is, and it's like what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing is that he's talking about clearing the energy from that. It's like, yes, I'm going to I'm picking myself up and I'm ready to go. This is about, you know, like physically taking action now. And something is clearing the way for you. I'm just going to carry on shuffling and add that in going across. So then we have the spiritual side of things on the Ten of Swords. So there definitely is something spiritually going on and with you, and you know, with this overall energy of the Ten of Swords, in the sense that, you know, there's something moving, like you've come to the end of something and you've figured it out. You know, you've figured it out. You've like you're in your mind about what is going on, and it's like you may have been starting to like communicate, because I'm hearing like this is, you know, the Swords is also about communicating and clearly communicating, where that's verbally, by the actions that we take, or, you know, in whatever way. You know, our body language says a lot, and so when we take action, which is what this card here, the Ace of Wands, is like you're starting to take action now, and things are moving. Okay, things are moving. And then taking physical action is a biggie as well, because we've got to, you know, take some sort of action in order to create that change. It can't just be just sitting in our mind and expect it to like just happen. So we've got to do something else. You know, part of the recipe is actually taking action with it, creating it, whether that be research, whether it be taking, like the next step may be doing research. The next step may be, you know, just, maybe that you are being more disciplined with yourself, or doing a vision board. It may be that you are, you know, you're saying no to something, like with the communication side of things. That maybe that you're saying yes to something and you're starting to get cracking. So the Ten of Swords is like you figure out what it is and you start being more in your power, okay, with you know, a situations or whatever it is that you're experiencing right now. And whatever, and because, you know, when you do that on a soul level, it's like there's a feeling of a you know, with the Ten of Cups here, there's, you know, there's something, or the Nine of Cups, there's something new, you know, there's a completion of a cycle, you know, there. And she's pregnant there, so she's obviously like around about 9-10 months and really due to give birth. So while there is, and when we allow ourselves to, you know, there's, you know, like I say, 9 is for me, talks about a completion of or the ending of a cycle. And then we're moving into, you know, like the 10 for me, and here would be like giving birth, and there's that processing of, you know, assimilating the information and processing the information and you know, and moving forward. So, but the Nine of Cups is also, it's about, you know, like thinking, and if you're thinking around the if you start thinking or looking about the Nine of Cups is like coming to the end of completion, like my cup is full. So when with this baby, you know, you come full term with something, okay? So then it's time to like move into it, you know, move into the next stage or the next phase. So there is something moving. So I feel like it's probably just starting to like really sink into you, sink in with you. That there is something, or was something even moving now, and it's like coming more into the foreground now. It's like you're seeing more, or you're having more foresight, insight in that with now, and it's like looking back, it's like, wow, about, you know, tracing back the steps and the process that you've taken, or the lack of even, it maybe that you've just had to sit quiet, and it might have been frustrating you as well. So, but in that meantime, it's like when we have those moments, is like there is something else we're meant to be doing, and it's preparing ourselves for the next phase. So it may be like, for instance, you know, generating, you know, ideas and thoughts, and generating a program or something, or a plan or a goal, you know, for the future and how that's going to look. So there we go. So here we go on the next row here. they're talking about, we're just going to go, that one would be here. I'm going to turn that around the right way because I've actually moved that myself. So I'm going to put these here because it's fallen out in that order. Okay, so the next row we here have, you know, in this, it's, so in the current energies, with all that happening, like with the overall energy of the current energies, there may be something falling away in order to help you to move forward. It's where you may be needing to let go of something. So I feel like for some of you, it's because this is all happening, it's maybe a forced thing or a universal thing, or something is happening anyway where it's out of your hands to some degree. And on saying that, when I say it's out of your hands, it's like I say back here, you've been doing some, or there's been something that's happening in the background there as you've been moving, and it's like it's starting to fall into place. So there is, you know, something, a mindset of letting go, if you haven't fully yet, or they're talking to you and explaining to you about releasing things. So somebody maybe they're talking and explaining to you about releasing or letting go of something. So, you know, in that decluttering process. So some of you, it may be quite sudden. It may that epiphany. It may be a really sudden change when it's may rock the boat for some of you about what does come up for you in this epiphany that happens. But don't try and stop it. Just go with the flow of it and process it and see what comes up, because what I'm hearing is that there is, you know, otherwise you're going to be, you're going to feel like you're stuck. So a bit longer. So there is, just acknowledge it and move it is what I'm here. Move with it. So that's where the Tower is there for you. So there's something, you know, old ways of thinking and being and doing things. There's something cracking right open there. Okay, so, and I'm hearing, for seeing in some of you, it may literally be like a a lightning bolt moment where it's like, whoa, I was not thinking that, or I was not expecting that to come out of that, or that to happen. And it's not, and you know, and when we clear that, it may be, you know, because you're opening the door for something, you know, better to come through, or just as good. It clears the way so we can see more of what we want rather than what we don't want. Okay. There we go. So then we have you on the physical level here, you know, the King of Wands, being in your power, taking action, moving stuff along the way, and, you know, bringing out that, you know, that entrepreneurial side of you, whether you're a female or a male energy. You know, Sagittarius energy here is just say, you just go for it, you know, just go for it. There is like this burst of energy that comes out of this because you're having this new birth here, okay? Because he's very clever, he's very impulsive, he's very passionate, and that's what yous are about. But I'm hearing about, you know, just being mindful as well that you're not too over the top, because, you know, this is about finding that balance in the way that you're not overwhelming yourself and or somebody else that is, you know, around you. This is about like communicating again as well, and with especially, you know, and it's not necessarily, that's not saying that to, it's, you know, to hold yourself off or hold yourself back, but it's like where they're going back to here is like creating some sort of a plan or goals, and, you know, or, you know, so you can, you know, where they're going that, so you can, okay, one, make sure that you've got everything that you need, because there's a sense of impulsiveness on it that's coming through as well. So like you might just go run like a bull at a gate, and or, you know, or a horse at the gate, you know, or whatever, you know, just, you know, and not think about these other bits and pieces that may need to come into place. So it's like I'm seeing like the plan or the idea actually, and then I'm just thinking, oh yes, there's a plan to do that, but there's a direction to go there, but it's like there's no steps forward to take, you know, that the action steps to take, you know, that are clear and decisive. So, and it's like decisive, but not, you know, but also they're talking about decisive in the steps that you need to take, but okay, versatile in the timeline of it. So it's always, because what I'm hearing is like setting the timeline, but being mindful that you're not steadfast on that timeline, because it could come a bit earlier, but it could take a little bit longer. So this is really like going into that intuitive, that amazing intuitive side of you, Sagittarius, and, you know, like going seriously going into that space and knowing when it is to make the right move for you. Because here we have the Hanged Man. So there's something about, on a spiritual point of view, maybe about you, you know, looking at things from another point of view. Whether that be that you may be needing to look at things from another point of view, or that you do put, you know, some of you, it's like looking, you know, that you may be looking at the point of view for another point of view, or another way of thinking about something. So there's something about, you know, going into that and just being, I'm hearing like mindful about, you know, how much energy you give away, because it's like, I'm hearing here too, there, because you're seeing this, you know, Hanged Man has got this amazing like sun energy here in the heart chakra space. So what I'm hearing is like, you know, maybe some of yous are, you know, giving away too much energy. So it's maybe in the way that, in how you do things. So for it's like, okay, so it's like they're looking at it, you know, that you may be in a position where, okay, I'm really wanting to help people, and I want to do this, but sometimes we have to say no in order to make sure that we take care of ourselves. And it may be that you're able to help in a different way or a different time, or, you know, delegate that off to somebody else, But there's definitely something about, you know, something is upside down in the way that you're looking at things in a sense, and it's like maybe hindering you from doing something that you would really like to do. So on a spiritual level, it's like taking a look at that, you know, what is it that you're hanging yourself by the foot from? You know, what is it that you're creating? And it's not saying that you don't want to help anybody or do anything like that ever. It's just like, it's about taking some time for yourself and just being mindful about how much energy you expel, like talking about, but or expirate, but it's like in how much energy you use, that you giving away too freely or too much of. Okay, and it's one thing to give, but I'm feeling like a lot of yous are not allowing yourselves to receive. Okay, so then we move to the moon on this row here. You know, the moon energy talks about intuition and on a soul level. And I do feel like on a soul level, you know that things are being a little bit unbalanced over the last year, you know, 5 years, 2 years, whatever it is. Maybe even like the last 6 months has been more intense for you. And that's like what I'm hearing here with this one is just making, you know, like looking to the moon in the sense of, you know, the of nature and the natural flows and ebbs that she has for us to utilize and use, you know, as a guide for when we need to rest. Okay, because I'm hearing it's like being quite, you know, I'm hearing, you know, it's like somebody saying it's quite evident that there's a lot of yous haven't been doing, you know, taking some time out, and some of yous might have literally hit the wall, and you know, and that sort of thing, and you know, but bounce, you know, but it's you'll bounce back, you're resilient, you bounce back, and some of yous have had to, like, you know, put some extra time in to get that extra time in, or done the hard yards to complete something, and now it's just time to like make sure that you do take time out for you. Okay, but in that meantime, it's showing you something on saying that about yourself that you need to learn about, maybe prioritizing, maybe your organizing has been a little bit gone astray for a little bit, and you know, and that's, you know, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's something for us to learn from, you know. And it's like, and this is where I feel some of you have, like, in a way, been a lot too kind as well. And I'm just hearing in the background on saying that you can never be too kind, but it's how we utilize our energy, or disperse our energy out to be kind in that kind time. Okay, yeah, as we're being kind. So utilize that moon energy because she's there to help us. So I'm also hearing about, you know, like checking in with yourself, clearing your energy, getting back into nature with that. Okay, so then we have the Knight of Pentacles, like, you know, here, and he's talking about the Knight of Pentacles is something like you've started something, or you're starting something, and it's like moving on, or you're continuing to move on, because it's like whatever it is that you may have had a little bit of a hiccup there for some of yous, and then you've had this Tower that's coming through here with, you know, the mindset things, you're shifting things, and it's allowing you to get back on track again, or get back, set your energy again, or set your values, set your whatever it is, your course again. And I'm kind of like, there's I can hear reset in the background, but not wanting to delete that for the moment. So, and it's because you're not wanting to redo anything or go back there. You're like, you've got a whole different view of things. So they're talking about setting a new picture for what it would look like, what it would look like, or what you want it to look like in the near future. So this is like the Knight of Pentacles here is, letting you know that you've planted some seeds, and the seeds are still growing, but now it's time, showing you, acknowledging that the seeds are starting to sprout and keeping moving. So something is moving still. I don't feel like you've actually fully taken your finger off the pulse, but it's just like there is something that is moving in it now. I feel like you can it's like you can get going again. And like there's this disappointment here with this Three of Swords here. So something, when I'm talking about disappointment, it's like not letting that disappointment get in your way. There's always going to be something that's going to come up. So and it may be with the heart, to do with matters of the heart, but that disappointment is like that's come through here on a physical level is, it's like you can overcome it. So whatever it is, there's something, your mind is telling you to, that there is something that is worthwhile there, but it's like, I'm not going to stop myself from actually physically moving forward, is with that disappointment, knowing that is there in the mind, or has been, from this is where this Tower comes through. So it's moving through that, and cool. Where we go there? Well, no, just want to click. There we go. Okay, the Page of Cups, because there's something new in the way that you're emotionally thinking about things or doing things, and where that's going. And it's like maybe you've because there's the fish, the Pisces in there, the fish in there, and it's quite abundant, with the Page of Cups. There's one new cup there that he's holding up, and he's looking up at it. So it's like, and it has got a beautiful the sun, a glisten on there. So there's something that is abundant that is moving along there. Something is moving along there. And he's got a fish in his hand. So he's got the cup there, and on the other hand, he's got this fish, which is, maybe a water sign that you're dealing with here around you at the moment with this relationship thing here, or this disappointment. But there is something that's moving on a spiritual level. So it's like, I'm feeling like, raising the bar with the way that you're thinking about things on an emotional level as well. Not really come across that one before, but wow. I'm just looking at this card because there's something else in there. I'm just noticing that he's waist deep in there. So it's nothing, whatever it is, the emotions are not like neck deep, that you're moving and you're wading through them. It's like, and there's a luck of chairs, and they may have been waning away or wading away from things. So because it looks like he's walking forward here in this card. So there's something that is definitely moving, like on a spiritual level, and you're figuring things out, and your intuition, and I'm hearing like checking in with your intuition as well, because he's got this amazing big smile, and maybe you're actually starting to more listen to your intuition, or it's a good idea. What they're talking about here is to start listening to your intuition more and discerning what is just your mind chatter or thought from actually, your intuitive, thought that's coming through, or your intuitive knowingness, inner knowingness actually that is coming through. So we have the Fool here, which is in reverse here, so on a soul level. So there may be a little bit of, toing and fro in this new journey that you're looking, this leap of faith or this new beginning. But I want to turn that around, because it's just, once again, some thoughts that have come up, and maybe a little bit of emotion there. So there may be something that you may be still lingering and holding on to in a way. But I'm hearing, you know, on a soul level, but there's something that's going to come out of that, because the Fool is, you know, maybe resisting something about, you know, new that's coming through, or listening to yourself, you know, that deeper inner side of you coming out. Because then we have the Wheel of Fortune here, okay? And the wheel, you know, the Wheel of Fortune here, you know, it brings that abundance, but it also can bring, you know, just letting you know that things turn around. And I feel like that's what is maybe still in your head there, because the Wheel of Fortune has just come out with that one as well. And even in reverse. So I feel like it's like getting your, you know, you can turn that around. And maybe you're still thinking in your mind that you can't turn it around. For some of you, and you know, but it's like yes, and it's like okay, yes, but I feel like, you know, there's energy there, and it's like yes, that, or you may be saying to yourself, I can't believe it, it's something is turning around, but actually believe it. So stop saying can't and do saying, because there is something about that's coming up that, you know, that there is, you know, there is some change coming up, and a change of circumstances in your Wheel of Fortune, in abundance or in prosperity. Along that way, cool, along those lines. So I've turned the Fool around. So there is something that comes up, you know, on a soul level. They're talking about here, about, you know, you moving through something by the end of the month, and it may be like by the end of the week, you know, maybe, you know, before the end of the month. So, but it's whatever, you know, your flow is for you, and if you understand this, you'll know what I mean. So I was actually going to pull a card out of that one, but I'm not going to now. I'm going to move to the Silver Witchcraft Tarot deck here. So let's see what's going on. Let's see what's happening here. What have we got for Sagittarius? And just to give some clarifiers here, what's going on. Here we go. Maybe there may be something else coming out, so we'll just see what happens with this wheel here. Oops, okay. I'm not going to take all of those, but I am going to take the ones that have come up face up. So here we have, look, the King of Wands again, and the Four of Wands. So this is you. Absolutely, this is you. So this is about, you know, creating the magic and going into that space, you know, that space. It's like you are, you know, you are like the king of manifestation, you know, or he's coming in to show you that you can create whatever it is. It's just going to take a little bit of effort, but he's clever. You know, he's smart. He's got the smarts about him, and he's a risk taker. And you know, but it's not just about so much the risk taker in him. But I wanted to say that, but he's smart, and you know, making the decisions. He makes smart, clever decisions as well. What I'm hearing, but risk taking ones too. So he's like what I'm hearing is one to, you know, to weigh up things, but also, you know, to take a punt on himself or take a punt on something. So maybe you've got, you know, put that side of you away for a little bit, and it's time to come out, let yourself out again. Because then we have the Four of Wands, and the Four of Wands is like something is, you know, in a way there's a celebration, is letting you know that, you know, when you may take some steps in moving forward, and you start bringing things together, things, you know, and, you know, bringing things together, do whatever it is, to begin that, you know, it's what I'm hearing. It's not going to happen fully overnight, but it will happen. But it's taking those steps to make something happen or create whatever it is. It could be a relationship for some of you. I'm hearing and I'm feeling and sensing more. This is more around some sort of something to do with work and career or business in a big way, but also on a personal level about the mindset of money, business, that sort of thing, and shifting that around and how you think about money. And looking at your relationship with money, which is interesting because this Page of Cups is they're just drawing me back to that. It's about, like, you know, on a spiritual level, you start thinking and looking about what money means to you and the limiting belief patterns in that. So, and when I'm drawing, and as I'm talking about, they're drawing me back to the Nine of Cups here. So there may be on a level, there may be that level of thinking about money and how money, your relationship with money lately or over the last, you know, how many years back or just throughout your lifetime. And there's a shift in that sense. So it's like, okay, it's like, I'm really now to make, this is where that aha moment comes. It's like, I'm really now to make my move. And I totally understand it, that, you know, I'm the only one that's going to make this happen. And at the end of the day, I've got to be the one that starts it, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So it's the king, that's where the King of Wands has come in. It's like, and, you know, you may have you created, been, you know, some of you, I'm hearing, maybe have been bankrupt before, or you may have been, which is kind of holding you off, or you may have not been as successful as you would have liked to have been, and or you may have made some decisions in, you know, in the past that have kind of, whatever it is, you know, around financially, that you may be a little bit sheepish about, you know, moving forward with something or a project again or whatever. But things are different now because you know what you know. And that sort of thing, but it's not allowing your emotions to get in the way of stopping you and, you know, your emotional attachment to that. But it's like allowing that excitement where, you know, because I feel, you know, there's a sense of, you know, like, you know, that this is, you know, whatever it is where you're going to, could be a relationship for some of you, that this is a good thing. And I've just got to put some, you know, time and effort and effort or motivation into it, because whatever's happening is like this, it's going to start to pay off, because you're going to start to see evidence of it in its celebration there. And with somebody, wouldn't be surprised, because they're celebrating with somebody else there, and it may, you know, male, female, could be your partner or partnership there. Is, you know, you may be starting to see something actually work, you know, or actually work here. Okay, cool. See, and then we have the Wheel of Fortune again. So something will start to turn around, but you've just got to give yourself, give yourself a chance. And then we have the Queen of Swords here, who is in her power, you know, communicating nicely, not only to herself, but to those who are around her, expressing herself, being in her power because she is doing that. That being in that space, but being in, you know, which is setting her up for being in clear mind, but also clear vision, you know, that clear vision. When we have a clear mind, we have a clearer vision. Okay, cool. So she brings that with her, and she's cutting through all the drama, the bullshit, hers and or somebody else's as well, or others. And, you know, and it's there, but it's not letting that affect her, basically. It's like, this is, I need to go on my own path. That's their path. That's their way of thinking. And it's not like saying, like, I'm going to shove that, you know, like a family member out the door or anything like that. It could be for some of you, I'm saying that. But it's just really not allowing yourself to be caught up in something and stopping you or preventing you from, you know, slowing down, stopping, or doing something that you know is for you. In the long run, it will pay off, and it will benefit all those concerned. Okay. Anyway, I just still want to there's one more card that's coming out. I just want to take that one, actually. The Huntress, the Wild Huntress in this Dragon one. Face your shadow. So there may be something there about you facing your shadow for some of yous, which has probably got something to do with maybe around the financial side of things, and then, you know, whatever's going on in your mind. Okay, face your shadow. Okay, anyway, I'm going to leave that there now for you, Sagittarius. So I hope that helps with a little bit of encouragement, enthusiasm, and just a little bit of guidance there. Knowing that actually you've got this, and there is something new coming through, so embrace it. Take a punt on yourself. Anyway, bye for now. We'll see you next month.